In this video, we're going to talk about the secrets and shadows and Spawn's torment and the woman who holds his past. Alright, my brothers and my sisters from another mister, this is a comic book review and breakdown of Spawn, issue number 28, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. So in the previous issue of Spawn, we left off with Spawn and the curse going at it. Now, after Spawn does his damage, since his return from the grave, this man called Spawn has been hunted, hounded, beaten, and shot at. He became like a raging bull, pent up too long with all this anger building up deep inside, and he's ready to explode. Lord have mercy on the next fool who tries to cross his path. So as we see Curse hung up, crucifixion style, he's pissed about it. But there's nothing he can do about it. He tells Spawn, you should die for this. Man, shut up. So he goes on in this fanatical religious rant like, watch your tone, Hellspawn. My time will come through. You may have broken me physically, but my spirit has been fortified. I've seen the error of my ways and relied too heavily on the Lord. He's forsaken me. I understand that now. So I cast away my allegiance. My battles alone. Wars starts with you, demon. Though you've taken human shape, I know what you are. I know what you came from. Like me, you have also been cursed. It saddens me that I must kill you. Do you hear me? And Spawn ain't trying to hear all that. He's just like, bro, just shut up. But back to Wanda. So we're just getting the tone set up here because clouds gather around for rainfall. She muses how this is the first time she's taken the car into New York City, and she must be crazy going through in her head because one, she lied to Terry, her husband, about where she was going because never did anything like this happen. She never had to go about this alone, but she really wanted to find out who this Spawn was and why he saved her husband's life because she's going through this thing of people trying to kill her husband. It's not fair. What Terry had to endure was so much. His own friends at the agency turned on him, and it's really eating at him. So now he's injured, and his injuries are still bothering him. And even though he's pushing through very strongly, deep down Wanda knows it's eating him up alive. But Wanda can make sense of Terry being investigated like this. If the mob wanted him dead, that would make sense. But the mob and his own people? No, none of this makes sense. And Terry would be dead if it weren't for Spawn saving him, rescuing him. This is going back to issues of Spawn issue number 21 and 24. So it's just painting the picture that this case, this detour that Wanda is doing into the alleyways, it's painting a strong enough motivation for Wanda to do something so dangerous for the sake and love of her husband. So back in the alleyways, Spawn's had enough. Like, bro, I am king in this alleyways. This is my home. How dare come and try to turn my people against me? Believe me, Curse, you're in no position to threaten anyone. I make the rules here. You get that through your thick skull, huh? Could you imagine that tone in a Keith David voice right now? It'd be pretty gangster. So as Spawn walks away, he tells him, so you rant about revenge all you want. I've got a few things to take care of myself, but I'll be back. But don't get too comfortable because I'm not close to being finished with you. So in this panel right here, Sam is overlooking the files that Spawn gave to him about Chief Banks that ties him into Billy Kincaid's murders and also whores, bribes, political favors, cold girls, enough to put Chief Banks in a very compromising position where Sam Burke holds all the leverage. But Twitch reminds him, Spawn gave you this to give to Chief Banks to pull the searchers off the alleyways to keep Spawn incognito, right? Well, you're right. But Spawn ain't gonna be tripping about this. But the cliffhanger in this panel is Sam sees something in her that's very sickening and very disturbing, but we're gonna have to wait another issue or two or whatever the case may be to find out what that exactly is. So now we go back to Terry Fitzgerald and Cyan, and it's just re-establishing what Wanda was going through earlier: political favors, bribes, whores. He sees all the files on Chief Banks, but he doesn't see how this all ties to him. So the phone rings, Terry picks up the phone, and it's Wanda's friend Sheila Edgar. She's asking for Wanda. And Terry's like, well, she said she was going over to your place. She said there was some new charity thing you had to discuss. Oh, Sheila's like, no, I haven't talked to her all day. Hope she's all right. And all Terry could think about is he goes stone cold silent because the possibilities of what might be happening with Wanda right now is too horrific to think about. So now we go back to Wanda Blake in the alleyways. As the minutes turn into hours, Wanda finds a path leading to Spawn blocked at every turn. Though she's questioned over 3 dozen of the homeless, nothing has came of it. Either this Cape vigilante doesn't exist, or these homeless people agreed to keep his whereabouts a secret. So she continues her search, and they all say, we haven't heard of him. Yeah, okay, you ain't got no business here, girl. So finally she resorts to a simpler tactic, money. And she quickly finds a believer in free agency. All right, lady, bought yourself a tour guide. So he takes her into the alleys further away, further deeper inside, and he tells her just around that corner and down a bit, you should find something, but I ain't going near that spot. That red freak's a lunatic. Well, Wanda really has to have deep motivation for doing this, because why else would you do all this? So cautiously, she turns the last corner, and she cannot believe what she has seen. And it just horrifies her. Please save me from the curse. And all she could do is flee and tell him, no, you stay away from me. So as she runs away, she trips and falls and doesn't get too far. And these other assailants come up to her like, oh, you a pretty girl and you got a pretty mouth too. And before you already know what they're gonna do to her. I'm not gonna say it here on YouTube. But before any of that can happen, this cat meows aggressively, runs away from the dark alley. And this guy's like, cats? Freaking scared cats? Who's in there? Now this wood shard gets tossed and goes into his leg, and another brick goes into this guy's chest, and Lord knows what happens in his chest right there. So scared and confused, the third assailant darts into the side alley, and all he can hear right now, and Wanda too, is bones breaking and cartilage tearing, and Wanda, that's all she hears, but there isn't a scream to accompany any of it. So Spawn's like, who's next? Hauntingly, he emerges from the shadows, a specter of death prepared, even waiting for the next move. Several years as a CIA-trained assassin taught him to fear nothing, but now that things have changed, he's the one that can instill fear and instill the pain. Back away from that woman, says Spawn. Now anxiety, dread, and panic, all emotions Spawn sought to inspire, now surge to this final standing gang member. Having pulled the jagged shard from his leg, he reacts instinctively. Back off, man, or she buys it. And Spawn just goes up to him quickly and flexes his power like, how dare you threaten me? And so he throws him to the side, he lands and impacts onto the wall where the curse is at. Don't be an idiot, says Spawn. Screw you, this guy reaches for his gun. But the thumb will be the only usable thing that is left after Spawn is done with him, as he breaks all the rest of his fingers and bones on his hand, but except for his thumb. And Spawn just tells him, bang, you're dead. And for the first time, Dougie, Mad Dog Gilmer, wets his pants and doesn't care, and he runs away. Get out of my sight, says Spawn. Oh dear Lord, says Wanda. Okay, lady, next time you might want to pay attention to where you're walking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for any of this to happen, says Wanda. And Spawn just goes into a shock, and I don't know what kind of emotions are going through him right now, but when he sees Wanda, he's just like, it completely changes his demeanor and just his attitude in a good way. Like, how do you know Terry? And I, says Wanda. And who are you? Someone who cares, says Spawn. I need to know something, says Wanda. Why did you save my husband? He's so confused right now. None of this makes any sense to him or to me. I saw what you did to those men just now. You could have killed them. I didn't want that. I came here for another reason, to thank you. When all this was going down and went down, and Terry being investigated by internal affairs and dead men connected to the mafia on my front lawn, all issuing back to Spawn issue 24, Terry was blamed for the murders, and he nearly died from the beating of overkill. I couldn't bear to lose him. I love him so much. We have a little girl, but you probably know that. So Wanda continues on. She needs her dad so very much. We both do, but well, you scared me. I know I should be grateful for you saving me tonight, but what you did, it looked like you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it a little bit too much, what you did to these men. And Spawn's like, no, please, Wanda, don't turn away. I'm here to help. I mean, come on. He did make a deal with Malbosia just so he could see his wife again. And this is his chance. He's trying not to mess it up and, shoot the bed or whatever. He raises his hand to wipe some mud from her cheek, and she recoils in fear, fearing that he's about to strike her. And Spawn is like, man, I did not make a deal with Malbosia for you to be that afraid of me, girl. This is my fault. No, I'm sorry, says Wanda. Here, before I go, I want you to have something. You did more than save a life. You allowed us to remain a family. That means everything to me. I know it was wrong for me to come out here tonight, so forgive me. I won't come back ever again. The emotional damage Spawn is facing right now. So he tells her to wait, and he begs her to wait, but she flees. Later, all Spawn can do is he's been staring at that photo for 3 hours, and it'll be another 2 before he puts it down. And that is the end of this issue of Secrets and Shadows, Spawn's Torment and the Woman Who Holds His Past. And that Spawn's Torment in this issue. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other Rated Comic limited print exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. And also don't forget to check out our playlist if you ever want to catch up some of the earlier Spawn issues so you know what's going on, and hey, a brother doesn't mind if you binge watch. Lastly, this video is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in description or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to Rated Comics YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.